friend Kenny Chapman here, the Blue Collar Coach. Today I want to talk to you about a quick question, really a positioning thing. And I want to ask you this as we get started today. Whose side are you on? I want you to really just take a moment, just take a step back and answer that question for me. Whose side are you on? And you say, well, Kenny, what do you mean? What side? Why do I have to choose a side? When I say, well, what could be defining that? Am I on the company side? Am I on my side? Am I on my family side? Am I on the client side? Am I on the client's family side? Am I on... Whose side am I really on? And that's one of the things that I want to challenge you with today. When you think about becoming awesome at what you do, when you think about becoming a master of your own skill set, of your own process, of your own questioning, of your own accountability, of your own discovery, of your own personalized results, the game really begins to change. So I want to ask you one more time, whose side are you on? I hope that you realize by the time we spend a few short minutes today that the more you're on the client side, the more you cross over to that other side, meaning that you're there for a challenge sometimes. You're there for a quote-unquote problem sometimes. Most of the time your clients are in duress. If you're on a demand call or if you're on an urgency-based situation, there could be a problem. Therefore, there's a certain level of challenge going on. There's a certain level of uncertainty going on. There's a certain level of unknown that's taking place. There's a certain level of I don't know how much I'm going to spend. There's a certain level of I don't know who's going to be in my home. There's a certain level of I'm not sure who I can trust. There's a certain level of I don't know if they'll know the product. There's a certain level of I'm not sure if the company's going to be around in a year. There's a certain level of they can give me a 5-year warranty, but what does that mean? Are you with me, ladies and gentlemen? I want you to think about this today. Whose side are you truly on? Today we're going to break down 5 ways that you get on that client side. Because when you get on that side of the fence, if you will, when you realize that there's a challenge and you slide around on their side of the table and you're presenting options, you're going through all the opportunity that they can have to either band-aid or solve or create a solution forever regarding their problem, their challenge, their opportunity, whatever it is in the home. I want you to realize that when you get on that side and you start going, you know what? I'm going to differentiate. I'm going to challenge that. We are on the same side, and whatever your situation, whatever your budget challenges is, whatever your objections could be, whatever that looks like, I'm here to help you, Mrs., Mr. Jones, whatever client you are engaged with. Are you with me, ladies and gentlemen? Let's talk about this. Now, let's remember, first of all, right out of the gate, if I'm going to be on the client side, you better remember what you're selling. So if we start straight away, let's remember, what am I selling ultimately? What am I really selling? Let's chunk that back to basics and remember that, we talk about often in Instant Meeting Makers, in different professional tech academies, in different schools that we put on, Average to Awesome, service technicians, whatever those are, we talk about the fact that, there's 3 sales all the time. And number 1, you sell yourself, my friend. The first sale is always going to be you. Then there's another sale that is regarding the company, your support mechanism, your support system, the people that are behind you, the team that's behind you, the company that's behind you, somebody standing behind the warranty. If you choose to move on, they need to know that somebody's going to be there. And ultimately, last and certainly not least, is that product, that service, that whatever that solution is, that cause and effect opportunity that you're offering, right? That's ultimately the third sale that's made. But too often, service technicians, service providers, frontline team members lead with, here's the problem, here's the solution, here's what I'm going to do. Oh yeah, and by the way, there's a company that actually I work for, and oh, by the way, I'm a licensed certified technician. Oh, by the way, I've got the skill, I got the ability. Oh, by the way, I've been doing it for 10 years. Oh, by the way, I can do this for you. Oh, by the way, you don't ever say those things a lot of times. Sometimes you got to get on their side. You've got to open up and remember who and what you're selling. First and foremost, it's you. Today on this time that we have together, I'm selling you on myself and why you might listen to me and maybe make a couple minor shifts and adjustments in your behavior that will completely change your results forever. I got to sell you on the fact that I'm the right guy to help you make that change, to make that decision, to make that behavior choice. That's what it's all about. Now let's jump in and let's talk about this, because ultimately when you're selling yourself, it's about trust. It's about risk reversal, my friends. It's about when you start realizing that clients want to have risk reversal. Recently, at the time that I'm recording this, we had some challenges with a landscape company. We're we're creating a new backyard. We built a nice little townhome in Scottsdale. We got a little small backyard area that we wanted to have done up and all these different types of things. And what happened is we ended up going with a personal referral that ended up not working out. Now, because this was a personal referral, this gentleman had no online presence. Therefore, as a consumer, we have no leverage. We have no way to go to market. We have no way to hold him accountable to the lack of service and product that he provided us against the estimate or the quote, right? And so when we think about those different types of things, you got to realize your clients are there too. You got to get on their side. You got to help them understand that, number one, write this down: homework before test. Write that down, my friend. See, when I didn't do very good in school, probably, maybe many people I'm talking to, I know I'm a tech at heart, you're a tech at heart, possibly, if you're watching this. Here's the deal: we might not have done very well in school, but what I do know is there was always homework before the test. Now, if you take off your scholastic headset, if you will, and realize that you're not sitting in Mr. Streff's history class, oh, I digress, maybe that's me, but here's the thing: it's not that school anymore. It's the school that you live on a service basis, at the daily basis of you running service calls. Now you get to realize there is homework before the test. What do I mean by that? In the service and sales process, that means there is homework from the time that you hit the door, from the time that you get your original page or your dispatch ticket, however mobily you're getting dispatched, whatever that looks like, however it shows up to you, you get this. Now you manage your prejudgment in your mind because you jump ahead and you go, oh, here's the homework. Some people do the homework here without actually getting a client involved in the homework. When is the test? The test is when I lay out my options, when I go and here's my 3, 4, 5, 6 different options that I have. Different bundling, different packaging, different ways for you to solve your solution today, my friends, or solve that challenge that turns into a solution. But the homework comes before the test. What do I mean? You've got to do the discovery. You've got to ask the questions. You've got to find out what is going on with the people, the product, the place, the situation. See, it's about you understanding the knowledge. See, it's been said that knowledge is power and nothing is further from the truth. Knowledge that is not executed on, knowledge that is not shared is not power. Now, you need to uncover. You need to do the homework and get all the knowledge so you can share when you get to the options table. Homework before the test. Number 2, write this down: ask and listen intentionally. Intentionally. Ask and now listen. If I'm going to ask you a question, you better be mindful and pay attention. We have multiple trainings on listening. There's different types of listening. There's different categories of listening. There's different levels of listening. Today, all I'm asking you to do is be intentional. When you are in that service and sales process, when you're in that communication place with your client, when you ask, make sure that you're asking an intentional question. Every question that you ask should have a reason behind it. What is the question behind the question? When I ran my service business, I always asked that. Now with my leadership team at Blue Collar, what is the question behind the question? What is the client really wanting behind what they're asking for? What is the team member really asking for behind the question that they're asking? What about you in the sales process? What does the client really look for in a question that they ask? How soon could you put that in? What does that mean? How much is that going to cost? What's the question behind the question? What type of warranty is with that? What's the question behind the question? When you ask and listen intentionally, see, the game changes. This is where we're truly stacking the odds in our favor. Because, what I want to do is set you free. Why do I do what I do? Why am I in front of this camera today sharing time with you? Because I care about your communication process. I care care about helping set you free as a technician. I spent many years, blood, sweat, and tears, just like you. As a technician, you can never take that out of somebody. I'm a combat vet. You can never take that out of me. As a plumber, dead broke drain cleaner, the way that I started into this space, you can never take that away from me. And because of that, I want to share with you. I want to help you make it easier. And one of the ways you do that is asking intentional questions. When you get clear that you're truly stacking the odds. Think about this. Have you ever had this situation? Hey, Rick, I'm Kenny. Nice to meet you. You turn around and you walk away and you're going, oh man, what was the client's name? And you're trying to look at your paperwork and you're trying to get the name. And why? Because you weren't intentionally listening. You intentionally asked. Why? Because you got to know who they are, how many people are in the home, how old the home is, how long they've been there, how long they plan to be there, how be there, have they done any remodeling, do they plan to do any, all of our big questions. And we've got our 4 generals and our 4 specifics that we teach. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, if you're not potentially going, hey, wait a minute, intentionally I need to know what's going on, then you're missing information. Write it down and make sure that you are asking and listening with intentionally. Step 3, establish genuine connection. Now, every good sales process is designed to create a connection. We have our 12-step ultimate client experience. We have, 10 steps in retail sales. We've got 9 steps in call center closing and phone answering techniques, whatever. All those are designed to create a connection. But today I want you to think about a genuine connection. When you get clarity about what that looks like. I think about, I had a Yellow Pages rep back in the day that he was big into cycling, road cycling, right? Colorado, a lot of people are into mountain biking and different things. He was into the road cycle stuff. And I saw just the other day on Facebook that he's moved on. He's in the mortgage industry now, but I saw that he posted he got a new bike and it was in the box, and he posted on Facebook, it's new bike day and it's an amazing thing. And here's what I know. If a plumber, if a heating and air guy, if an electrician, if a restoration contractor, if a drain cleaner was in James's home and made a comment about his bikes hanging on the wall, about the pictures of him and his wife riding across the National Monument, I know there's going to be a genuine connection. And here's what else that I know. I've never been a road biker. I've never been a cyclist. I can certainly ask questions though, and listen intently to his answers and create that emotional connection. I don't have to run marathons to have conversations about marathons. I don't have to go camping to have conversations about camping. I don't have to be an Arizona Cardinals fan to ask about the jersey hanging on the wall. We design process to help you connect. You release yourself to genuinely connect. When you ask those questions, you create genuine connection. When you create genuine connection, that's when you slide around to that side of the table and start battling this challenge, start dealing with this situation when you're on your client's side. Establish genuine connection. Ask the questions, get on their side, have them talking from that perspective. Then we go to number 4, where I want you to think about closing the gap on their side. We talk about the gap a lot. There's always going to be this gap between where you are, where you want to go. If you create an option sheet, there's a gap. I don't care the type of call. If it's a demand call, there's a gap. There's a problem. There's urgency. There's something that needs repaired, replaced, or upgraded or enhanced. There's something going on. If it's a maintenance call and you run through, all a maintenance call is doing is you're listening to the system and the client. You're building a report card, which turns into recommendations and options to keep that system operating at its peak performance level. What does that mean? That creates a gap between the current system and the potential system. Now, if I'm on a sales call, an open call, somebody's looking at upgrading, adding on, doing a replacement, whatever that is, there creates a gap. And I want to close these from their side, my friends. I'm just like sliding over. It might be hypothetical as you're going through it, but while you want to deal with these challenges, whether it's a price challenge, whether it's a schedule challenge, whatever that is, we'll talk about that more in a moment. Always be closing this gap from their side. And I want you to think about it like this. How do I know if I'm on their side? How do I know if I have genuine connection? How do I know if I'm asking and listening? How do I know that I've done my homework before the test? I want you to think about big market advertisers. And let's just take a little company called Coca-Cola. And let's think about, does a company called Coca-Cola advertise on MTV, music television, the video thing? Oh, boom, it's this and it's that and it's flashing and it's going to there. Of course they advertise there. And what are they going to have? They're going to have music, and they're going to have beats, and they're going to have color, and they're going to have graphics, and they might even have some tagging type things and different type of artwork that goes on throughout the commercial, beating to different beats and all those things. Now, do they know their demographic? Are they speaking to somebody specifically? Are they closing a gap between them and their product and their client and their product from the same side, perhaps? Now, let me ask you this. Does Coca-Cola perhaps advertise on network TV during the day, during the stories, during the Young and the Restless, during Days of Our Lives and all the different things? You can judge them if you've never been hooked on them. Trust me, I was in the military. That's a whole nother story. Nonetheless, you think about the demographic watching daytime TV. Do they advertise the same ad for Coca-Cola during the day? They don't, do they? They advertise, they market, but they understand closing that gap is different for the daytime audience or the MTV audience. What does that mean for you? What does that mean for your clients? What does that mean when you're in discovery? What does that mean when you're understanding what's going on? What does that mean when you remind yourself that you are a client, but you're not your own client? Number 5, always close next action. Always close next action. Now, this has been said and say, oh, ABC, always be closing, all the different types of things. No, here's the thing. I want progress. It's been said we desire progress more than anything in life. I teach a lot about progress, not perfection. As a quality professional technician, professional communicator, professional call taker, professional salesperson, professional installer, whatever your role in the business is, you're always closing the next action. I want you to think about communication. I want you to think from the smallest to the largest every single time. It's always the next action. So if you have a follow-up, what is the next action? I need to call my spouse. What is the next action? I need to think about it. What is the next action? It seems like it's a lot of money. I might shop a little bit. What is the next action? I want to have a no over a maybe any day. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't accept a maybe today as long as I close the next action. Maybe, okay, what does maybe mean? Maybe, when maybe will you be making a decision? Because maybe I'm going to follow up with you because I'm always going to close the next action. So you stay engaged, and when you start really getting clear about why you're selling yourself first, when you get clear about getting on the client's side, when you have tremendous clarity about doing the homework first before the test, understanding all those things, when you have clarity about intentionally asking and listening, when you have crystal clarity about genuine connection, when you understand that you are closing the gap from their side, and you're also always closing the next action. That's how you set yourself free, get on their side, and watch your game change. I'm Kenny Chapman, the Blue Collar Coach. Until we talk, make it a better than fantastic week, and we'll see you real soon.
Hey, I want to take an opportunity to say thank you for watching this video and subscribing. My question for you is, what are your revenue goals this year? Why don't you drop them in the comments below? And remember this, you're either winning or you're learning.